Couples are still spending over £20,000 on weddings, yet they are more cautious, more deliberate, and more hesitant than they've ever been. So what is actually going on? And why does the wedding market feel so different heading into 2026? I'm Mark from Go Engage and our dedicated platform for venues, VenueBot. I grew up in a family-run hotel hosting weddings most weekends, and for over 20 years I've worked in customer engagement and hospitality. We work with wedding venues across the UK, helping them improve how they handle inquiries, book more tours, and convert more weddings. To understand wedding buying behaviour in 2026, we need to talk about the economy, not just weddings, the wider picture. In the UK, couples are still dealing with the hangover from several years of economic pressure. Inflation peaked sharply, interest rates rose quickly, mortgage payments increased, rent increased, and energy bills have increased. Even though inflation has cooled, the cost base of everyday life is now permanently higher. That matters because weddings don't exist in isolation. Most couples are making wedding decisions at the same time as saving for a house, or managing higher mortgage payments, paying higher rent, or navigating job uncertainty. Bridebook's 2025 UK wedding report shows that average wedding cost sits at around £20,800. That number has not collapsed, which tells us something important. Couples are still willing to spend, but they are far more conscious of how and where they spend their money. WedPro's most recent industry research shows around 65% of couples say cost of living pressure has directly affected their wedding budget. That is not a small majority. That is a dominant mindset. Hitched National Wedding Survey adds another layer. It shows that many couples revise their budget multiple times during planning, not because they didn't plan, but because costs feel unpredictable. This creates a very specific buying psychology. Couples don't feel poor, they just feel exposed. They are willing to spend, but only when they feel safe to do so. Now let's zoom out globally for a moment. This behaviour is not unique just to the UK. Research from The Knot and WeddingPro in the US shows similar patterns. American couples are still spending at record levels, but they are cutting guest lists, choosing off-peak dates, and making trade-offs to stay in control. Globally, couples are reacting to economic uncertainty rather than absolute hardship. Interest rates, political instability, global conflict, and supply chain volatility. All of this creates a background of hum and caution. And when people feel uncertain, they delay decisions. They compare more. They avoid surprises. This is where wedding venues feel the impact most sharply. Not through fewer weddings, but through slower decisions and more filtering. Couples now interrogate value far more deeply than before. They'll ask, what's included, what's optional, what could increase later, what's fixed and what is flexible. Venues that present pricing as vague, layered, or will explain later trigger anxiety. Venues that present clarity early create relief. This is why pricing transparency has become such a critical conversion factor. WedPro and Bridebook both show that around 1/3 of couples will not inquire at all if pricing is not visible or understandable online. That statistic alone explains why some venues feel quieter. They're losing couples before the inquiry stage, but it goes deeper than price. Cost of living pressure has changed how couples emotionally evaluate venues. They are no longer asking, is this beautiful? They are asking, is this safe? Is this organised? Is this predictable? Is this going to spiral? This is also why we are seeing more midweek weddings, more off-peak interest, more micro weddings, and more flexible formats. Bridebook data shows midweek weddings can be £6,000 to £9,000 cheaper on average. That's not insignificant. But here's the crucial point. This does not mean couples want cheap weddings. It means they want control. Couples are still happy to spend money on things that they feel is meaningful, such as food, experience, atmosphere, photography, music. What they are less tolerant of is ambiguity. From a venue perspective, this creates both a challenge and a massive opportunity. Venues that acknowledge this cautious mindset convert better. They explain options clearly, they show flexibility, they remove financial fear early. Venues that ignore it feel expensive, even when they're not. Another subtle shift, driven by the economy, is timing. Couples take longer to decide. They pause, they revisit, they compare again. This can feel like lost momentum, but it's actually risk management. This is where many venues misinterpret silence. They assume disinterest. In reality, the couple is doing maths, talking to parents, rechecking priorities. The venues that win in this environment are not the ones that pressure, they are the ones that reassure. To summarize, what cost of living and global economic uncertainty has really done to weddings? It has not stopped weddings. It has not collapsed budgets. It has increased caution. It has increased filtering. And it has massively increased the importance of clarity, reassurance, and guidance. If your venue feels slower in 2026, it doesn't automatically mean demand is down. It may simply mean couples need more certainty before they move forwards. So how does this resonate with your experience? If you're a wedding venue that would like to understand how you can still grow your bookings in 2026 and be a step ahead of your competition, drop me a message to mark@goengage.co.uk. I would love to hear more about your venue, your plans, and share with you the winning formula that top venues are using to buck the trend and have a full diary of tours and bookings. Oh, and don't forget, if you've liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.